The unseen strength. Most people never notice a crucial truth. The most powerful person in the room isn't the loudest or the one under the spotlight. It's the one who doesn't speak at all. He walks in without drawing attention. Yet the atmosphere shifts. People glance at him, but no one dares to guess what he's thinking. That's the strength of someone who has outgrown the need for recognition. A man who doesn't argue to prove himself, who doesn't speak to claim he's right, who doesn't fight just to win. In a world obsessed with noise, the truly powerful choose silence like a sharpened blade. They don't act to be seen. They act to end the game before it begins. When others react in anger, they remain silent and calculating. When they panic, he stays calm like a still lake. This isn't weakness. It's power under absolute control. Do you want to become that kind of person? Someone who makes others uneasy just by showing up? Someone who doesn't compete, yet always remains the center of the game? If your answer is yes, keep reading, because what follows isn't just about survival. It's about domination without raising your voice. The illusion of power through calmness. In a world of chaos, the weak scream for attention. The insecure threaten to hide their fear. But the wise, they choose silence as survival art. A true strategist understands one truth. You don't need to prove you're strong. You just need others to feel in your silence. Calmness isn't just emotional control. It's a master strategy in psychological warfare. It makes opponents second-guess themselves, imagine their own defeat, and lose the initiative by their own minds. The less you react, the more they're forced to guess. And in that fog of uncertainty, an illusion of power begins to form. The person who doesn't respond to attacks commands a room. The one who doesn't justify their presence becomes an enigma no one dares challenge. The silent observer turns opponents' words into their own trap. You don't win arguments. You confuse your enemy with your silence. This isn't passivity. It's silent domination. Manipulate the environment, not the person. Most power-hungry people make a critical mistake. They try to change others. They believe force, logic, or intimidation can bend someone's will. But the strategic mind doesn't waste energy fighting human nature. Instead, it changes the environment around it. You don't force people to change. You change the rules of the game. You don't attack directly. You quietly shift the board until every move they make is a loss. In business, this might mean altering contract terms, redirecting cash flow, or quietly breaking alliances. In personal relationships, it could mean withdrawing at the perfect moment, making them question their own emotions. You don't control their actions. You control the stage where their actions happen. A confident person weakens when isolated. A disciplined person crumbles when their routine is disrupted. A powerful person trembles when their support system vanishes. This is spatial control, shaping the battlefield so that victory becomes inevitable. And the best part? If done right, they won't even realize they're being led. Pretend weakness to set the trap. Most believe power comes from strength, direct confrontation, overwhelming force. But real power hides in calculated weakness. People don't guard themselves against what seems harmless. They lower their defenses, grow arrogant, and reveal their weaknesses. Pretend to retreat, and your enemy believes they've won. Act helpless, and they expose their plans. Let them think they've defeated you, then strike where it matters. This isn't surrender. It's baiting through deliberate helplessness. Machiavelli once wrote, "The greatest ruler knows how to be both lion and fox, strong enough to tear things apart, smart enough to hide his claws." If you've ever been underestimated, don't prove them wrong with words. Let your silence become their quiet nightmare. Finish completely. Leave no loose ends. Once a confrontation begins, you have two choices: end it decisively or live with the consequences forever. An unfinished enemy always returns, smarter, angrier, and more ruthless. Mercy isn't victory, it's a seed of vengeance. A wounded opponent still hopes for revenge, but one who has been silently finished has nothing left to return with. If you must act, do so with cold, unrelenting finality. Cut contact completely. Remove not just the opponent, but their entire support system. Leave no cracks for them to crawl back through. The harshest punishment? Disappearing from their world as if they never mattered. Silence as the ultimate weapon. Nothing terrifies the human mind more than prolonged silence without explanation. Words can be argued, actions can be blocked, but silence, it offers nothing to hold on to. When you don't respond, people invent their own narratives. They doubt, fear, and overanalyze. Their imagination, driven by insecurity, becomes your greatest ally. Silence is an avoidance. It's absolute control. Final rule, strike once, end everything. Some battles can't be avoided. When you must act, wait until your enemy is fully isolated. Strike without warning, without emotion. Erase their position so completely that no counterattack is possible. The perfect strike is the one you never have to repeat. The rebirth of the untouchable. True power isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself. When you no longer crave recognition, fear losing, react to petty provocations, you become untouchable. Not because you fight better, but because you no longer need to fight at all. This is the rebirth of strategist, the silent dominator, the one who moves the world without saying a word. The art of invisible dominance, how to rule without resistance, the power of unspoken authority. Most people chase validation. They want to be heard, seen, and acknowledged. But true influence operates differently. The most commanding presence in any room isn't the loudest voice. It's the one that doesn't need to speak at all. When you outgrow the hunger for approval, you gain something far more valuable. Unshakable control over perception. The less you explain, the more others speculate. The less you react, the more power you retain. The less you seek attention, the more it's forced upon you. This is a paradox of silent dominance. Those who need nothing control everything. The strategic pause, how silence wins wars. In every conflict, the first to speak loses leverage. The first to react reveals weakness. The first to panic surrenders control. But the one who waits, who lets silence stretch just a second longer, holds all the power. Let your opponent fill the void with their own doubts. Let their frustration expose their intentions. Let their need for a reaction become their downfall. Silence isn't just the absence of words. It's a psychological weapon that distorts reality in your favor. The illusion of choice, how to control without commanding. People resist orders. They rebel against demands. But they willingly follow when they believe it was their idea. The highest form of manipulation isn't force. It's framing. Instead of telling someone what to do, present options where your desired outcome is the obvious choice. Instead of arguing, ask questions that lead them to your conclusion. Instead of demanding loyalty, create conditions where betrayal is illogical. When done right, they won't feel controlled. They'll feel in control. And that's when they're most obedient. The slow erosion, how to defeat an enemy without fighting. Direct confrontation creates resistance. But isolation, that breaks even the strongest minds. In business, quietly remove their allies and they collapse from within. In politics, let them talk until they trap themselves. In personal conflicts, withdraw recognition. Nothing terrifies the ego more than irrelevance. The goal isn't to destroy them. It's to make destruction inevitable through their own mistakes. The final lesson, how to become untraceable. The most dangerous predator isn't the one that roars. It's the one you never see coming. Leave no trail of anger. Give no warning before the strike. Offer no explanation after. When your actions are unpredictable, calculated, and invisible, you become something far more powerful than a ruler. You become a force of nature. The choice is yours. Will you keep fighting for scraps of attention? Or will you master the art of winning without a battle? The silent strategist doesn't conquer. He inherits the mastery of unseen influence, advanced tactics for absolute control, the shadow strategy, how to shape reality without leaving fingerprints. True power doesn't announce itself. It operates in a negative space, in what you don't say, in moves you don't make, in reactions you don't give. The most effective manipulation isn't about pulling strings. It's about creating an environment where people willingly dance to your rhythm without ever realizing there's music. The 3 pillars of invisible control. 1. Control perception. Let others define you by their own assumptions. Never correct misconceptions that work in your favor. Allow people to believe they figured you out. 2. strategic absence. O disappear before you're expected to. O return only when your presence carries maximum impact. O make your unpredictability a psychological weapon. 3. Environmental engineering. O change the rules of engagement silently. O alter the social chemistry of any room you enter. O make your preferred outcome the path of least resistance. The art of psychological jiu-jitsu, using their force against them. Weakness can be strength when properly weaponized. Let opponents underestimate you, then strike when they're most confident. Allow enemies to believe they're winning, while you're quietly dismantling their foundation. Encourage rivals to expend energy attacking, while you can serve yours with decisive moment. The principle: never resist force directly. Redirect it, absorb it, let it exhaust itself against your patience. The black hole effect: creating a vacuum of power. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so do people. When you create an empty space in any hierarchy, others will rush to fill it. Exactly as you planned. Withdraw from petty conflicts. Let others fight for scraps. Remain silent in debates. Watch as people argue your position for you. Step back from obvious power plays while positioning yourself for true control. The most powerful moves are often the ones you don't make. The chess master's mindset. Thinking in layers. Amateurs play the piece in front of them. Masters play the board. Grandmasters play the metagame. 1. Surface level. What's visibly happening. 2. Tactical level. The immediate moves and counter moves. 3. Strategic level. The long-term positioning. 4. Psychological level. How all players feel about the game. 5. Temporal level. How time affects all factors. Your advantage multiplies with each additional layer you master. The final ascension. Becoming a living paradox. When you can embody contradictions without explanation, you become unstoppable, kind but ruthless, present but untouchable, predictable in values but unpredictable in methods, visible but never fully known. This is a state where others can neither anticipate you nor ignore you, where you exist in that perfect tension that commands respect through uncertainty. The ultimate truth about power. All visible power is temporary. All acknowledged influence is limited. True dominance exists in the unspoken understanding that you could act, but don't need to. You could take, but choose not to. You could destroy, but prefer to create. This is a pinnacle, where power isn't something you wield, but something you are, where every move is effortless because it emerges from complete self-mastery. The game never ends. But at this level, you're no longer playing. You're the invisible hand that moves the pieces. The silent sovereign, advanced principles of uncontested authority, the doctrine of calculated ambiguity. Master the art of being strategically unknowable when your motives remain just beyond comprehension. You force others to engage on your terms. The 70-30 rule: reveal enough to seem transparent 70%, while keeping critical intentions obscured 30%. Controlled leaks. Release information that shapes narratives without ever confirming them. Plausible deniability. Structure all communications to allow multiple interpretations. The wise ruler makes truth itself a variable. Ancient strategist paradox. The shadow hierarchy, building parallel power structures. Visible authority attracts challengers. True power operates through invisible networks. 1. The proxy system. Cultivate intermediaries who act without direct orders. 2. The silent alliance. Build unspoken understandings with key players. 3. The gray cardinal. Position yourself as the power behind multiple thrones. Example: a CEO who controls the board through 3 independent directors who all owe him favors from unrelated ventures. Temporal dominance. Controlling the clock. Time is the ultimate weapon when wielded strategically. The compression gambit. Force rush decisions when opponents are unprepared. The elongation play. Drag out processes to exhaust adversaries. The strategic pause. Create tension through deliberate delays before critical moments. He who controls the tempo controls the game. Grandmaster principle. The art of non-engagement. Advanced techniques for rendering opposition irrelevant. The phantom withdrawal. Appear to disengage while actually tightening control. The silent sanction. Punish through absence rather than confrontation. The invisible ceiling. Create conditions where challengers eliminate themselves. Case study. A political operator who allowed rivals to win minor battles while he quietly rewrote the rules of engagement. The Master's Checklist. Daily practices for unseen power. 1. Environmental scanning. Read subtle shifts in power dynamics. 2. Selective invisibility. Regularly disappear from predictable patterns. 3. Controlled revelation. Carefully time disclosures for maximum impact. 4. Asymmetric engagement. Only interact when it serves a deeper strategy. 5. Psychological layering. Maintain multiple levels of plausible intention. The final evolution, becoming the hidden variable. At the highest level, you cease to be a player and become the unseen catalyst, creating effects without visible cause. The silent architect, designing systems that enforce your will automatically. The invisible hand, shaping outcomes while remaining attribution-proof. When they look for the source of power, their gaze should pass right through you. The sovereign's maxim. This is the realm where power becomes not something you exercise, but something that exists because you exist, where your mere presence in the equation changes all possible outcomes, whether you act or not. The ultimate position where you become not a king, but the hidden physics of the kingdom itself.